Okay, we are live. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Batlim Kize, and if you don't know already, I am a teacher abroad, specifically in China. And once a month, I host lives to have in-depth conversations about teaching skills, pedagogy, strategies, whatever the case may be, in collaboration with Moreland University. So today's video is in collaboration with Moreland, and I'm so excited to be back. So I wanted to shoot a little intro so that we have some context if you're scrolling by and you're starting this video. So let's wait for people to join the live so that we can get started. I see 2 people have joined us. Welcome, honey. Hi, Karabo. Thank you for joining us. Thank you, my love. Hi, guys. Thank you for the likes. I can see the thumbs up as well. Fantastic. It's been a while. It's been a while. Hi, As Beats. Hi, Lungile. Hi, Swiri. Hi, Sweetness Shongwe. Hi, my love. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you so much. Hello. It's so fantastic to do these lives because I get to see the regulars, the names that I see in the comment section. I get to see here. Good morning from Nigeria. Good evening from China. It's currently 7 p.m. this side. Hi, Mapelo. Hi, Nobantu. Hi, Benedict. Hi, guys. Fabulous. I'm so happy we are all here and we are ready to discuss. Definitely drop me let's see today, what can we do? Drop a heart if you are a teacher, and drop a thumbs up if you are on your way to becoming a qualified teacher. That means you're currently enrolled and you are studying to become a teacher. I want to know who are our demographics or what our demographics look like today. Juicy is a teacher, fantastic. What age group are you teaching? Where are you based? Tell me more. Hi, Constance. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So, guys, it's so wonderful to see you guys here. Sweetness, final year in B.Ed foundation phase. Amazing. So many teachers that are getting qualified and are getting closer and closer to being qualified teachers. Benedict is also becoming a teacher. Nontle on her way. NK, that's a peace sign, so I'm not sure which one it is. Hazy, hi Sbatle, currently visiting China and loving it. Amazing. Where in China are you? Which city are you in? How are you finding the food? Are you originally from South Africa? Where are you from originally? And tell me the differences that you've seen so far. B.Ed intermediate phase, unemployed. You will get that job you are looking for in the name of Jesus. You will get that job. Elementary school, learning to teach ESL. Amazing, online. So I love that we've got so many different qualified teachers, different kind of pathways that teachers are going for. First year B.Ed, congrats. All the best for your qualification and getting yourself qualified. Okay, my love. So as you already know, we are back with another informative video, another amazing time for us as teachers to learn from each other, to share. And, you know, I know all of you guys know that I'm a teacher in China, but I'm also South African first. And I've lived in South Africa all my life. And so that is the education system that I know. And so I have quite fond memories and also some, not so fond memories of parents' meetings. Do you remember, guys, if you are from South Africa or any other place, tell me how the parents' meeting were for you. For us, our parents' meetings were me coming in, sitting next to my parent, and we are going from station to station. In my case, it was my grandmother. And we would go from each teacher, and you'd go from each table. You go to each teacher. Why do I keep saying that? Because I'm having such about it, because I used to sit there and listen and squirm as the teacher is talking to my grandmother about me. And then my grand is like, sorry, there was a phone call. I think it's a delivery guy. Wait, let me check. 1 second. I'm coming back. Guys, you guys know I live alone, so I literally don't have anyone to open the door for me. Anyway, so I was saying, do you guys remember parents' meetings? And then it would be so awkward to sit there and listen to the teacher you, and I was a very talkative child, so I used to always anticipate the teachers to say, your child is very talkative, disrupting other students, da 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 da. And I did not like that, hearing all the kind of not bad characteristics, but just, areas of my behavior that I could improve on. I didn't like hearing that from my teacher, especially if I was sitting there and listening to the teacher telling my mom or my grandma, whoever the case may, whoever was there. So it got me thinking, like, how do you guys handle parents' meetings, and how do you guys handle interacting with parents, especially when you are a teacher who is coming into, or rather working in a school that is so different from the kind of cultural context that you grew up in. So I'm coming from South Africa, and I've moved here to China, and it's such a different context in terms of culture, relationships, the norms, whatever the case may be. It's so different. And it really got me thinking about how have I been navigating it. And a lot of it I did learn while enrolled with Moreland University. We had a whole module about handling parents, building relationships with parents, kind of to get them on board so that they can also be a great tool to support the child. Because as a teacher, you're not the only person helping the child learn and get educated and thrive in school. There are other entities that need to work together, like the parents, extended family, if the case may be, after school activities, so the sports coaches, all those people, all those entities are working together to make sure that the child succeeds, right? So it really got me thinking about how have I been navigating it? What tips can I give you to kind of share how I've been, I would say, successfully working together with parents and kind of navigating that relationship well. Even though there have been challenges, it has not been perfect, but it has been such a learning curve for me because it requires so much sensitivity, it requires so much awareness, and there have to be conversations about it, because if we don't talk about it, people don't learn, and you take it as the same kind of context you would if you were in your own country, your native country. So I'm gonna share a few points that I did learn whilst at Moreland and in life experience over the past 3 years working in a primary school. And these are just 6 strategies that I feel like will help you foster better relationships with the parents that are the parents of the children you are teaching. This is specifically if you are in a country abroad. I think they can kind of hit all the countries, I would say, generally. And then it's obviously if you are in a specific country that have specific cultural or norms or rules around it, it would differ. But I know that as a South African, some of them really shocked me how it's so different. Like I said, we have parents meetings in South Africa. I don't know if they still happen now, but when I was growing up, there were parent meetings, and I would be there as the child and the parent would be there. Now, if you're having a parent meeting, sometimes it's not wise to have the child there. Rather, here in China, it's kind of frowned upon if you have the child there. It's better if the child is somewhere else and the adults are talking. But mind you, this is a conversation about this person or this young person who also needs to hear how they can improve. So it is kind of different. Obviously, also age specific. I am talking about maybe I would say from grade 2 or even grade 3 up, because I feel like at that age, their cognitive development and their ability to understand the situation and comprehend what's being said has developed, so they can kind of manage their behavior. They can be given tools to manage their behavior and their abilities and responsibilities, So yeah, let's chat about it. So let me know also in the comment section, how are you handling it? If you are currently working abroad, even in South Africa, what is the context like there now? In the US, wherever you are, please do share. Oh, I see why your accent is like this. You're outside. I'm outside. What? Tavo, I don't understand what that means. Okay, so the first one is respecting cultural norms and values. So I've been saying a lot about norms and values, and I want to just say this for me was one of the toughest ones. Understanding the Chinese way of doing things, because it's so different from the South African way or even the Western way. For example, students, or rather parents, appreciated when you show them respect when it comes to how you speak about their child, and you don't label their child or give the child a diagnosis, whether it's behavior wise or all of that. So they do want you to kind of I don't know, I would say sugarcoat. You really need to sugarcoat how you speak about their child. You can still get your point across about their behavior, but they are not a they don't welcome labels. It's something that goes back to their way of life, which is to save face. They don't like confrontation. They don't like being educated about something or someone that they know so much about, or like their own child. So you basically need to be hearing from them about their child. You can't be telling them about their child. So it was very difficult because we spend a lot of time with the children. We are looking at the child with a different lens, so we are trying to help the child in a different way. But for them, their child is perfect, nothing's wrong with their child. So you really need to navigate that when it comes to the parents, because in many Chinese families, the teacher, or rather in many Chinese households, the teacher is seen as the authority figure, I would say, and they are non-confrontational, exactly. And you need to strike a balance when you're approaching them. You are still very much respected as the teacher, but also they don't take lightly to you telling them that their child is maybe has ADHD or needs help with, concentration, or needs help with staying on task. Like all those kind of things, it needs to be really well sugar coated. I think for Asia, it's also about the shame culture. As a child is a reflection of them. So when we treat the child, so we have to treat them with kid gloves. Exactly. That's a great way to put it. All right. So that one is super important when you're interacting with the parents, how you're going to word it, how you're going to communicate with them about whatever situation you want to communicate to them. The next one is regular and transparent communication. Now, this one is so important because in China specifically, I'll say what I've seen right now and what I've experienced. When you don't report, for example, continuous misbehavior or continuous events that have led up to a major one, like expulsion or detention or a yellow card or whatever the case may be, that has the parent coming in and having some disciplinary actions against the child or whatever. If you don't report and let them know what has led up to this, they are going to feel like you are kind of picking on their child, right? Because it's like, oh, why are you doing this to my child? There's so many kids in this classroom. So it's so important for you to start giving regular updates, especially to the students that you feel like are really not behaving the way that you would like, or are doing things that are really disrupting the class. Nip it in the bud immediately, or start communicating about it immediately. It saves you from that point where, for example, you need to go to the principal, you need to call the parents in. The parents are going to be like, when did you tell me about this? Like, I didn't know about this. You're picking on my child. Like, and it becomes very, very personal. And they do take it personally. Like one of the comments earlier said that they feel like whatever you're doing to them, or rather what you feel about their child, and their child is a reflection of them. So whatever you're doing right now, you're judging them. Okay, so it definitely requires you to send regular updates about the child's progress. You can do both positive updates and some updates about how the child can improve, both academically, socially, sports, whatever the case may be, whatever you feel like will really make sure that the parents are kept in the picture. Because the minute you have zero communication and then you just call them in one day and you say to them, listen, we're expelling your child, honey, you are going to be the one who has to answer to a lot of their questions. So be proactive, instead of waiting to reach out to the parents at the end. Reach out to them immediately when you see like, okay, one of your students need extra attention, extra reminders for positive behavior. Give them that update as it develops, so that they know that, oh my gosh, this is what's happening, build that trust with them, because I think it also shows them that you care. You're not just someone who wants to, get rid of the child, get the child out of the school, get the child into detention. No, you actually are paying attention. You want to help the child. You want to build a relationship with the parents so that we can both work together to help the child. You know what I mean? So yeah, regular, transparent communication. Don't be afraid to give the highlights about the negatives and some of the positives too. All right, let me see some of your comments so I'm not losing track. Early academic alerts, yes. We can also use the sandwich approach, exactly. Positive suggestions for growth, then positive comment, exactly. My kids love my class, and I know it's because I'm always well prepared and organized. That's a big factor too. Coming in with a organized mindset, everything is ready, your kids are calm, you are calm. They also go back and tell mom and dad, we are having such a great time in Miss Nomandla's class. So that also trickles down into how the parents perceive you, because if the child is enjoying your class, if the child feels calm, there's good transitions in your classroom management, good reward systems, it definitely the students will speak for you when it comes to their parents, you know. The next one I want to talk about is involving the parents in the learning progress, or the process rather. So this one is going to be very school specific, but I encourage educators, teachers like yourselves to initiate some workshops in your school. Now, this for us, for our school specifically, has helped us tremendously because we are an international school, but we're also very much bilingual. There's a lot of subjects that are done in predominantly Chinese, and then there are a lot of subjects that are done in just English. And so the parents don't understand what is being taught in these English classes, especially when we have a situation where the child is a fluent English speaker, but the parents don't know anything. So the child is very much, in control of their own learning. The parents just want to know what you got, what's your grade, are you happy in English? That's all they know. They don't really know what specifically is happening. What are they learning in English language arts? What are they learning in guided reading? What are they learning in inquiry, geography, history, whatever? So introducing some occasional workshops about specific subjects that you feel, once the parents buy into, also this will trickle into the students' attitude towards the subject, as well as how they take the subject seriously, right? Because another big problem that I noticed in one of my subjects is that when I send homework home, the parents don't prioritize my homework, especially because it's a non-exam or a non-exam subject. So it's more about the skills, and it's more about the kids doing a lot of hands-on PBLs, whatever the case may be. So the parents really didn't help me much when it came to, having the kids bring stuff home, research stuff, print stuff, bring it to school. It was so difficult. It was like really, really hard. So once we sat down and we brainstormed with the subject group, we decided, let's do workshops. Let's kind of demo with the parents what the kids are learning in the classroom so that they can start to actually understand what is being learned. And once they are involved and they understand, it will be easier to get the child also to get involved, to get inspired, and also to kind of reinforce what we're trying to do in the classroom at home, So having those workshops, introduce the methods, the strategies, introduce some of the PPTs, activities that you guys are doing, show that to the parents. This will really help you kind of also make sure that when you are sending homework home, parents are like, oh, you need to do Miss Bar's homework. This is super important. This will help you do this. It's even though it's not a written exam, but it's super important for the child's learning progress, So encourage the parents' involvement in school activities, workshops, class activities, school events, cultural exchange days, whatever you can propose to your school. This will definitely help you stand out as the teacher. Also, if you're a kindergarten teacher, maybe the parents don't understand how to teach phonics, invite them for a parents workshop on phonics and show them how to do the blending. That will help you tremendously with kind of sending homework home, sending stuff home with the kids. Then they can do it together. Even if you don't want to send homework home, but also the parents can also buy into that subject and also be involved in that. And that will really, really help you when it comes to the working with the parents. All right, the next one I want to chat about is showing empathy and understanding the expectations that are placed on the kids by the parents. So this one also very Chinese specific when it comes to me and my school. And what I've seen is that a lot of expectations are placed on my students by their parents. They are I would, excuse me, I would say really have so much on their plate. Not only are they attending school from 8 to 4:30 every day, they have after school activities, they've got extra lessons, they've got so much on their plate, and it's tied a lot to the pressure that the parents put on them because they want them to go far in life. They've got future expectations for them. They want them to go to universities abroad. And so when you are a teacher and you don't know what the parents have, what expectation the parents has for for the students that you're teaching, it really does make it difficult for you to be empathetic and to understand your kids and to understand the pressures that they feel. And so once I started to really be patient and open-minded about it, I started to realize that it's not going to be the same as South Africa, where the kids aren't, there isn't so much emphasis placed on booking every single hour for the child to be doing something. When I say this, these children have something to do from 8 to 10 p.m. every day, I'm telling you, there's something for every single hour of the day. So recognizing that firstly is a good sign, and then approaching it with some care, some empathy, showing your kids some grace, and then also showing some grace towards the parents because they also grew up in that system, and so they also have that mindset. So showing that respect and that willingness to kind of understand where they come from will really also help you not fight them about you need to make more time for the kid to do English. Really just kind of understand where they are, what they want, okay? And then find ways to kind of insert yourself or insert the subject that you're teaching in the child's day to day, but also giving your students some grace when they don't do homework or they aren't able to complete certain tasks. Just being aware of it really does help you navigate that differently. And then showing that empathy also towards the parents. It shows you that it gives them that safe space also to kind of share with you that, hey, we really want our child to do this. We've got high expectations, big plans for our child, but we really also want to keep the child as healthy as possible. So also it gives you that kind of, I would say, that platform to say, okay, you guys are doing amazing, but maybe take this down a bit or focus more on this and less on this. It really starts creating that conversation with the parents. And I think that already is a win, planting those seeds about always helping the child to strike a good balance and ensuring that the child is getting support in whatever way they need. Okay, the next one, let me see. Okay, let me carry on reading some of your comments. You guys have got amazing comments. Keep them coming. Hi, Lily. It goes back to creating a safe space for the kids. This can be through encouraging them even on days when there's too much homework and they are depleted. 100%, Bruce. My kids in grade 4 have so much on their plates. I see it most midweek, Wednesday. So tomorrow I'm going to see a lot of depleted faces. Some kids are going to be super tired. And I see it a lot on Fridays as well. So the nice thing is Fridays, we do finish school early. So that kind of gives them a bit of a rest. But my Wednesdays, especially when I'm teaching on Wednesday, I can see on their faces, they are tired, depleted. You can actually see that. So I try my best to kind of do nice icebreakers, things that keep them on their feet and not as much of writing and sitting down, doing a lot of group work, whatever the case may be. Okay. The next one is personalizing your communication with the parents. Now, this is also very country specific. Let's talk about it. Where are you guys based in the world? What's happening there when it comes to communicating with parents? For me, we are not allowed to have a one-on-one conversation with a parent without the homeroom teacher present. So that means I can't walk into, I can't call the parent into the school and say, I'm going to talk to them one-on-one without any Chinese teacher present. There are a couple of reasons why this is the case. The first is language barrier. Most parents speak Chinese only or know very little English. The second is things could get lost in communication, the cultural context, okay? Because it's so different, things might get lost in communication, facial expressions, things like that. It could just turn sour just because we don't understand each other. So it's important to have someone to be the medium. And so for us international teachers here in China, or rather in my school, we can't communicate with the parents one-on-one. There has to be a third party. It could be the homeroom teacher, it could be the principal, whatever the case may be, but there has to be someone there. So for you guys, how is it? Are you guys able to communicate to the parents? individually, or do you also need to have someone there? So, and we also need to also talk about what are the modes that you are talking to the parents through. For us, it's normal or it's accepted to just drop them a text on WeChat. I know in South Africa, some parents, some schools don't do that. They find it more respectful to bring the parents into the school, have a face-to-face conversation. Chinese people shy away from face-to-face conversations actually, because they want to save face. It's actually quite a norm here. So, keeping that communication very, there has to be something in between us. So it's either translations by someone, WeChat, phone calls. I've not seen any. Oh no, actually, homeroom teachers do a lot of phone calls. But as the foreign teacher, we can't do that unless the parent speaks fluent English. But even so it has to be on speaker. Homeroom teachers in the building so that they are also aware of what's happening. So yeah, definitely, I would also say like some parents do obviously prefer indirect communication forever, but if you can start building that relationship so that it leads to a point where you can have some direct communication. So a few things that our schools recommended that we do is that when the kids walk out to go home after school, they are walked to the gate by the homeroom teacher. So our schools recommended that maybe we can walk with the homeroom teacher so that we can see the parents, wave at them. They start to see our faces more often. If they are waiting for the kids, or maybe you are waiting with the child for the parent to arrive, you can have a little conversation with the parent, just like some small talk. Start to build that relationship first in a very nonchalant, very informal way, and then over time start to have that direct conversation face to face, instead of bringing them in only when you want to have something to do with the child's behavior, academic progress, whatever the case may be. I hope that makes sense. What are you guys doing when it comes to communicating to the parents? Is it something that you can do on WeChat, email, phone call, face to face? What are the norms when it comes to that, So yeah, guys, let's see. I think I've seen everyone so far. Hi, Willard. Hi, Dimakatso. I keep it at hello and goodbye on Monday morning, and they watch how I interact with the students. Of course, the principal will be watching from afar, 100%. So that one is a safe bet, 100%. Keep it there. I think are you teaching kindergarten? I think that's also really important. When they see you and how you interact with the kids is super, super important, because like I said, when the child loves you, they go home and they say, Mom, I love my teacher, da, 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 all these wonderful things that they say about them. And the last point I want to chat about a bit is building that cultural bridge. One of the toughest things as being an expat working abroad, obviously homesickness, being away from home, but being the one person in that school, for example, who is South African, who is Black, who is a woman who has decided to leave their home country to move to China, and kind of having yourself be the example. And it's so much pressure because people have lasting impressions. People rather leave lasting impressions. And when, for example, when I moved to China, I was in Beijing, and at the time I was working for a training center still. There were a lot of expat teachers from around the world. So parents were interacting with people from the UK, the US, South Africa. And I remember when I first got to this school, I remember my kids, I was asking them, they were asking me where I'm from. And I'm like, I'm from South Africa. And so we have another teacher there from South Africa in my school, and he is a white South African man. So they were like, South Africa, but you don't look like Mr. Sheldon. Like, you know what I mean? So that's my colleague. But you don't look like him. Like, what do you mean you're from South Africa, And so I had to explain to them, like, South Africa has people, has all types of people, all different colors, all different languages, etc., etc. It's a diverse country. And then they were shocked because, they'd never heard that. And so this is something that for me stood out for me, is like, we have that opportunity as expat teachers to help our kids, to help the parents to learn about the South African way, the South African culture, the South African demographics, the languages, whatever the case may be. We are strengthening that connection and building that bridge that probably wouldn't have been built if we weren't there, because most times not a lot of parents are looking to travel to South Africa unless it's for business, so balancing that is really, really important. It's so interesting because this Friday, actually, we have International Day at school. And this comes from our school shying away from doing Halloween every year and finding a way to introduce different festivals from around the world. Because every year on the 31st, we do Halloween. And so now our school is like, listen, we want to do something different. We want to expose the kids to different cultures, different festivals, so that they have an appreciation of different cultures. And so when they are meeting different people, different nationalities, they are aware of the different festivals from around the world. So for us, our theme for grade 4, of course, is Heritage Day, honey. And even though we can't go into depth about the history of Heritage Day, but we've definitely brought in a variety of things for the kids to learn about South Africa. I've taken it as far as helping them understand what the flag means, all the colors, the different languages that we have. We won't teach them everything, but we'll tell them that there's all these languages. There are also different cities, different animals. Some of our kids don't even know what the Big Five is, okay? So we have to take it there. We're teaching them everything. We also have asked them to come to school dressed up as safari guides or in bright colors that represent the different tribes in our country. So we actually found inspiration and pictures for them to find on Taobao, which is the online platform. So we found some African prints that they can wear. They won't specifically be like Xhosa, isiZulu, shields and all of that, but it will be a representation of the African continent, which will show the different colors. So guys, this is literally just a way for us to show them that there's more outside of Halloween. There's other festivals. I know another grade is doing Mexico, which is Day of the Dead. They're going to be dressed up as that. Another one is something else. So like, you know, it's giving our kids an exposure to different cultures, different ways, different experiences. And this is kind of a good way to do some cultural exchange as well. So don't be afraid to speak about your culture when it comes to the parents. If they ask questions, some might find it like weird if the parents asking very deep questions, but honestly sometimes it's because they are just unaware, they don't know. So it's our responsibilities to be open-minded, to share, to bridge that cultural difference and bridge that gap so that they can kind of understand us better as well, like how we are trying to understand their way of life and their culture as well. So yeah, my loves, that is what I wanted to share about. I didn't want this video to be long. Let me see where we are now. Thanks, bud. This has been helpful. You're so welcome, Mandy, or Mandy's Grace. So I'm thinking it's Mandy. I did teach Kancane in China. It was mostly adults in language center, so I didn't need to facilitate with anyone else but them if there was any issues at all. So it could be different age groups. I find that in primary school, there has to be a lot of communication with the parents. It's such a tricky age. It's rather the years from grade 3, I would say even grade 2, all the way up to grade 6 is very important. So we do want to speak a lot. Not that the other grades aren't important, but we do, like in our school, for example, to have a lot of communication with the parents. Yes, in a way, we are ambassadors of Mzansi. Exactly, Bruce. Thank you so much for joining us, Bruce. So yeah, my loves, I hope this was super helpful. I do also want to mention that, just off topic, Moreland has actually signed a partnership with Totally Teach, which is a platform where you can apply for jobs in China and anywhere else in the world. So check out Totally Teach. You can just type it up on Google. They have become partners with Moreland University, so you can get amazing discounts on the courses that you study with Moreland through Totally Teach. So check them out. I will leave it in the description box of this video. And yeah, my loves, let me know in the comment section, how are you navigating, building a relationship with parents that you are, the parents of the students that you are teaching wherever you are in the world. It could be anywhere, the US, the UK, South Africa, China, Korea. Please do let us know. I think it's a great way for us to share, to share our ideas, bounce off ideas, because it's such a tricky one. It's such a tricky one to navigate, and it could go south really quickly, right? Because things can be lost in communication and translation. So yeah, I hope this was helpful. This was quite a awesome think piece for me when I started thinking about it, because I was like, I really had to think about, what am I doing? What have I seen works, and how can I share it or package it in a way that can really help you guys and also inspire you guys. Thank you for your platform, Spa. This has pushed me to want to go back to teaching. Ngiyabonga kakhulu, sis. You're so welcome, Andile. Thank you so much for joining our live. And yeah, I will definitely be doing more of these. Like I say always, I do one every month. If I'm not doing one, I will make a YouTube video. I do have a whole playlist of educational videos that I feel like are not just educational for people watching them, but also for me, because it's making me do a little bit more research and also think about my experiences as a teacher. So yeah, I think I'm gonna end it off here. This was super awesome. Thank you for interacting, guys. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you so much for engaging. And do share this video with other educators, your colleagues, if you feel like it will be helpful. And thank you once again to Moreland University, our partners, for this video. And I will see you guys in the next one. Like I said, I will leave all the important links in the description box. I love you guys so much, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.